Think back to when you were 5 years old. You learned an entire language, a complex system of grammar, intonation, and vocabulary from scratch. No textbooks, no flashcards, no stress or crying over homework. You just absorbed information like a sponge. And then, something changed. You were put in a classroom. They turned on the fluorescent lights. They said, sit still, be quiet, memorize this. And your natural ability to learn was turned off. We often think that as we age, our brains degrade, that we become slower, but that is a myth. The truth is, the modern education system is optimized for compliance, not for the absorption of knowledge. It goes against the biology of your brain. But there are organizations that cannot afford to be inefficient. Intelligence agencies like the CIA or MI6, they need people who can learn a new language in 3 months or memorize a map of an unfamiliar city in 5 minutes. They don't use school methods. They use methods based on how the brain actually works. Today, we're going to break down 6 principles of spy learning. We're going to restore the factory settings of your inner genius. Method number 1. Sensory anchoring, the Proust effect. Remember a school classroom? Sterile walls, the smell of chalk or dust, boredom. For your brain, this is a dead zone. There's nothing to hook onto. In childhood, the world smells vivid. Grandma's pie, cut grass, wet asphalt. Smell is the only sense that is directly linked to the limbic system of the brain, which is responsible for memory and emotion. Intelligence agencies know to memorize information instantly, you need to tie it to a unique stimulus. How to apply this? Use a study scent. Buy an essential oil or gum with a strong, unusual flavor, like peppermint or cinnamon. Use this smell or taste only when you are studying. Your brain will create a powerful neural link. This smell equals this information. And now, the most important part. When you go to an exam, an important meeting, or a presentation, take that scent with you. One breath, and your brain instantly loads the state of concentration and the necessary memory files. You don't just remember the information, you feel it. Method number 2. Twilight learning, theta waves. We're told, study while you are fresh and awake, but science says otherwise. Kids often fall asleep listening to bedtime stories, and those are the stories they remember best. Why? Because in the borderline state between wakefulness and sleep, our brain switches to theta waves. This is the state of hypnagogia. Your critical filter turns off and neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change its structure, is at its peak. The brain is open for direct data upload. In the CIA, agents often listen to audio recordings with key phrases or data during these exact 15 to 20 minutes before falling asleep and go straight to sleep. How to apply this? Don't try to learn complex math in bed. Use this time to upload data that requires pure memorization, foreign words, dates, formulas. Play an audio recording or just read your notes 15 minutes before you turn off the lights and go straight to sleep. While you sleep, your hippocampus will transfer this information from short-term to long-term memory. You are sleeping, but the learning continues. Method number 3. Dynamic chaos, context independence. In school, we were taught we need total silence. Turn off the music, don't get distracted. This creates fragile memory. You memorize information, but only in greenhouse conditions. The moment you find yourself in a stressful situation, a noisy office, an exam, a conversation on the street, you freeze. Your brain doesn't know how to retrieve data in chaos. An undercover agent can't ask terrorists to please be quiet for a minute so he can remember the operation plan. He has to remember it over the sound of sirens and explosions. How to apply this? Stop looking for perfect silence. Study in a coffee shop. Turn on background music. Change locations. Today, study at home on the couch. Tomorrow, on a park bench. The next day, on the subway. Every new location forces the brain to create new associative connections. You untether the knowledge from the place. You train your brain to focus despite the environment. This creates bulletproof memory that will work in any stressful situation. Method number 4. Spatial mapping, the memory palace. Our ancestors didn't memorize shopping lists. They memorized routes. Where does the food grow? Where does the predator live? Where is the water? Our spatial memory is hundreds of times more powerful than our abstract memory for words and numbers. Children remember every corner of the house, every hiding spot where toys are stashed. School ignores this gift, forcing us to rote memorize vertical lists. Intelligence agencies bring this tool back. It's called the memory palace or the method of loci. How to apply this? Don't try to memorize a list of facts in a vacuum. Place them in space. Visualize your apartment. Need to memorize points for a speech? Place the intro on the doormat. Hang the first argument on the coat rack. Put the statistics inside the fridge. Make the images bright and absurd. The stranger the image, the better the brain remembers it. To recall the information, you just need to mentally walk through your apartment. You won't forget the information because you know exactly where it lives.
Method number 5, the interleaving effect.
In school, we had math class, 45 minutes of just formulas. Then history class, 45 minutes of just dates. This is called block learning. It's convenient for teachers, but terrible for the brain. The brain quickly adapts to one type of load and starts working on autopilot, lowering activity. Attention drops. Kids don't play like that. A child builds Lego for 10 minutes, then draws for 10 minutes, then runs outside. The brain craves novelty. How to apply this? Use the 20-minute rule. Don't study one subject for 2 hours straight. Study English for 20 minutes. Take a pause. Read a marketing book for 20 minutes. Take a pause. Review English. Interleaving forces the brain to reload the context every single time. That is effort. And it's that exact effort that creates deep neural pathways. You don't let the brain get bored. You keep it sharp by constantly switching the type of load. Method number 6, the Feynman technique, the briefing. And the last, most important principle. You can read a book and think you understood it. This is the illusion of competence. In the intelligence community, it's not enough to know something. You must be able to transmit that information quickly, clearly, and simply. Agents prepare briefings. If you can't explain a situation in 2 minutes so that a general who wasn't there understands it, you have failed the mission. How to apply this? Close the textbook. Imagine a 5-year-old child or your grandmother is sitting in front of you. Try to explain the topic you just learned in simple words without jargon or complex terms. The moment you stumble, the moment you say, well, it's complicated, you have found a gap in your knowledge. This is the only honest test. If you can't explain it simply, you haven't learned it. You just memorized it. And those are very different things. Let's summarize. If you find it hard to learn, if you forget what you read, if you can't focus, you are fine. You're simply trying to run next-generation software on the outdated hardware of the school system. Your brain is a supercomputer designed for learning. It just needs the right drivers. Return to the methods you used when you were 5 years old. Be curious, be playful, and you will be surprised at how fast you can actually learn. Try one of these methods today and write in the comments, what subject or skill have you always wanted to master but thought was too hard? It's time to wake up your inner genius. See you in the next one.